Hi there, everybody. I want to do a quick blog about the settlement of Hugh Grant that he received the other day. I did an interview with TNT, but I just want to do a follow-up blog about it. There's been a lot of talk about burglaries and breaking into homes, and I just want to say that newspapers didn't have the balls or the capability to do such things. All they did, all they had the balls and capability to do was listen into people's phone messages by ringing their mobiles from another number. Their investigative skills were not high, they were pretty low, and it took John Boyle to come in to bring this silly little trick that stalkers actually use to on girlfriends to find out if they're talking to boyfriends. So it'd been out there a while, and that had been brought in by John Boyle, this very rich individual that oddly Evan Harris and co are supposedly exposing all of it, yet his name has never been mentioned. So this goes on, yet you'd think that people that really care about what happened would want this person exposed, would be outside their house with a microphone, yet this has never happened. And what I'm noticing is the rich are protecting the rich. Like Hugh Grant is coming out and saying, oh, you know, Murdoch was up to all this kind of stuff, and it blurs the lines of reality. No, they actually weren't, but they were phone hacking, listening to everybody's messages and using that information in nefarious ways. And because they don't want that to come out, they're sort of giving Hugh Grant the nod to go out and say, oh, you know, there was burglaries and landline listening in. Now, no decent private investigators or indeed intelligent investigators would work for the press. So they didn't have this kind of thing going on. They even employed the SAS and serving SAS, but still this didn't go on. So this is what the public's being fed, and it's quite annoying. And I'm noticing that also Bruce Goodison from Sky is going to put out this documentary about Mahsa Mahmood. Now, apparently Evan Harris is leading this, which is strange. He's never met Mahsa, but apparently it is now the person with most authority to speak about him. Well, I totally disagree with that. I totally disagree with people that have got an axe to grind, with people that are earning a lot of money out of this. And this is not me undercovering. This is journalists coming to me and saying, did you know this? Look at this. And you know, I actually don't. I, you know, didn't bother going around to investigating these people. Why? What for? But there are journalists now out there that are angry about them, that are investigating. There's a lot of money involved in this. This, you know, this whole thing. And I'm busy writing my book, A Journalist's Ambition. I'm going to put out there shortly. And just going over what happened to me and this individual that absolutely destroyed me. Now, he was the one who was handling Mahsa Mahmood. He was the one that was telling Mahsa Mahmood what to do. But has his name ever been mentioned? No, not at all. And this is what they do. They find people that haven't got much money, that won't fight back for various reasons, and they hang them out as, oh, this is the evil. We've got the evil. This is the evil. And they're doing this to Mahsa Mahmood. Now, I was there up close, saw what was going on, saw him, saw what Mahsa is like, and quite frankly, he was like a child who desperately wanted to please the white men, the powerful white men, and so danced to their tune, and so did what they told him to do. And nobody's looking at that. Why? Because it's rich people involved. And to point out this person or that person would be to point out rich people. Now, these people that are doing this, they also accused me and of Sienna Miller, ringing Sienna Miller's GP, something I wouldn't do in a million years. Who would do that with a brain? When you ring a GP's office, all calls are recorded. So you'd be recorded. So when she was put in the newspaper, she'd be carte blanche, able to ring the police. The police would raid you, and off you would go to prison for 10 years for breaching data. Who would do that? But apparently there's somebody out there, she's called Susie Malice, who saw fit to do this for Lloyd Hart of TDI. They did that. They got paid $5,000. The dogs on the street know it. I have a taped confession from a Sun executive. No, it's not on my premises, because I get burgled again by these lovely people. It's somewhere else, along with a lot of other things. When I was on Fleet Street, I was bullied to do this and do that. If you say no, then you're out of a job. This is what you get told even. It's not, what you think. And people now, I believe, have come out for these people and said, yes, I was asked to do bad things and I just left. But it's different if you're working class. If you're working class and you go back to working in a shop, you kind of want to stay being a journalist. So I got round it. I thought these people aren't very bright. I know, I'll just pretend to go along with it. So I went along with it. And obviously going along with it means you have to write it down on an invoice. Going along with it means you have to pretend to them that you're doing it, which is quite easy because they're not very bright. This is what I chose to do, and quite frankly, I enjoyed it. Why did I enjoy it? Because if some scrote who hasn't been on Fleet Street very long, I was on Fleet Street starting in 1987 when I started to date Phil Hall after he had made me a horrific front page story. And going over that in my book, and I named Phil in my book, I'm Not Afraid of the Rich. I haven't got any money to be sued. So I have named him, and the whole thing of how I was treated is horrific. It's in my book, The Journalist's Ambition. I wanted to be a journalist when I was younger, and I got an invite to see Ian Brady, the Moors murderer. Now, instead of the press coming along and saying, oh, you did that, that's so interesting, what did you find out? They absolutely destroyed me. Had it have been a time of social media, I probably would have committed suicide. I went off to America. I certainly thought of hanging myself in a room. This is what they did to me. They destroyed me and then took me off to the south of France and then pounded me sexually. So, and then I was so destroyed, the only place I could go was to work for them, because they were the only place that didn't think that I was Ian Brady's bastard daughter. And Phil wrote it in a way, I'm going to write it that you claimed it, that way there's no comeback on me. Quite frankly, that man deserves to give me £1 million payout. So it sticks in my craw when I see Hugh Grant. There was a little story about me going for a drink somewhere, and I've been intruded upon, so I deserve this. What about me? What about my life when this man came along and did this? And coincidentally, the same man that was Mazza Mahmood's handler. Mazza Mahmood doesn't know whether it's day or night. I literally know him really well, and he had mental health problems. I don't like to speak ill of somebody who's not going to come out, but this is what was going on with him. He was a child, and I believe that Tulisa actually spotted that and said, I think he's ill. 100% correct. And he was cynically used and abused, and they saw this vulnerability in this childlike, credulous, this want to be white. Basically, he hated himself. He acted out against Pakistanis. The paper went along with that acting out. Muslims went outside the news of the world to protest that they were being targeted by him. Well, they weren't being targeted by him. He was one of them. They were being targeted by the newspaper, using him because he wasn't very well against them. This is what went on, but oh no, it's all been covered up. Let Bruce Goodison, Evan Harris, who doesn't know him from Adam, do a documentary saying, he's evil, he's evil, he's evil, he's evil. Fuck's sake, boys. If you're going to say that you're journalists, if you're going to put the label on yourselves as journalists, act like journalists. Journalists do not think, I know if I say this, I'll be buddies with Hugh Grant. I know if I say this, then I could claw at somebody that I was jealous of because they got a journalistic award. If I do this, yada, 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 yada. A journalist is somebody that seeks the truth, okay? That seeks the absolute truth. They don't write stories to get places. And in my time, I've done that. When I went over to Belfast, I thought, well, how do I conquer this place? How do I become the journalist du jour here? And I met up with John White, the head of the UDA, and said, give me a story, John, give me a story. He didn't have a story. So in the end, I said, well, I know. How about if you talk peace with the INLA, who's a strong contact of mine, the leaders of the INLA. So I then asked them, how would they feel to smoke the pipe of peace? And I ended up writing this totally jackanory story that got made front page with my byline. And I thought there, John White rang me and said, what did you do that for? You didn't say I was talking peace. And I said, oh, come on, John, you stick with me. I will put you on the front page. And isn't fame what you want? And of course, fame's what everybody wants. So he went along and agreed with that. So I then got my foot in the door. I then made my name amongst them. And then when the sleepy journalists at the BBC, who get fed everything from PR agencies and from this one and that one, but like to put themselves up as big ass reporters like Woodward and Bernstein, they get totally gifted their stories. I actually got, when John White assassinated John Gregg and went on the run, the BBC were hunting for them, Sunday Times hunting for them. I rang up the Sunday Times, said, I can find him. They were like, no, he's disappeared. Nobody can find him. Everybody's looking for him. And I said, I can find him. And I merely texted him, hey, it's me, where are you? 1 o'clock in the morning, I was in a nightclub in Belfast and got a call. Here I am. Come and meet me. I'm in Manchester. Come and meet me. And I got the only interview which made front page on the Sunday Times. This is journalism, yeah? And you boys in your castration call me blagger. I tell you, that is just going to get totally overturned because I see that for what it is. I see that for total penis envy, total unadulterated penis envy, and it's going to absolutely stop. I'm not going to tolerate it. They see what I do. They see, oh, you got in to see Ken Bianchi. Even Chris Berry D, if you don't know who he is, he writes the books talking to serial killers. I said to him, I'm very interested in Ken Bianchi, the Hillside Strangler. He said he won't reply to you. He doesn't reply to people. It took me years to get a reply from him. I got a reply in a week. Then it was 2 weeks. I got an invite to go and see him. And just like I got an invite to go and see Brady. Why? How do I do this? And I rang Chris Berry D, and he was just angry, really, which is journalistic envy, which goes on a lot with men towards women, I can tell you. And he said, you know, I only got a visit for 10 minutes, and he had to blackmail Bianchi, saying, I'm not going to give you your paperwork back unless you let me see you. I got an invite for 2 days consecutive, 8 hours and 8 hours. I got wide open, and I got to see him. This is good journalism. I remember one time the Times wrote a story about Liam Campbell, and they got it all wrong. It was all he does this, he's linked with the gypsies, yada yada yada. And I rang up the journalist who was the editor over in Northern Ireland. I said, no, this is wrong. I said, if you like, I'll take you down to Dundalk and you can meet Campbell. And he burst into an absolute rage. And he said, who the fuck do you think you are? You really think you're a fly by the seat of the pants kind of girl? I pissed myself. I said, no, I didn't, but now you've mentioned it, I guess I am. He hung up on me. So this is what's going on right now. This is journalist versus journalist. And there's a lot of clawing, there's a lot of snapping, there's a lot of attacks. I've certainly been name called. Now, I came out of care. I was told I was going to be a nobody. I was dumped in a homeless hostel. I was a bastard. I'd been rejected by my blood family, slapped into an orphanage, adopted by paedophiles. The Roman Catholic Church was involved in it in some kind of ritualistic manner. I was pushed into a convent, tried to make me into a nun. Nothing wrong with that if they'd have been decent people, but they weren't. It was sinister, which the Roman Catholic Church is. They're paedophiled up to their balls. People don't know about the total. People don't know about them, but some do. Malachi Martin, for instance. So there I was, adopted by paedophiles, put back in care after I got to puberty. Daddy wasn't interested in my snatch piece any longer. It wasn't a child's, and had to go into there. And I was at grammar school. I was actually top, very high academic, but began to fail because my mother was so envious of me. When I got into care, of course, the other kids were straight from Borstal, and you were told you have a fight as soon as you get in there. I can't fight for toffee, even though Graham Johnson apparently is terrified of me. So I was scared, but I thought, I'll get beaten up then, I'll cry and maybe they'll stop kicking and punching me after a while. But it didn't happen. I went in there, there's a gypsy girl called Mary Lou. She said, if anybody touches her, I'll kill them. So I had protection of someone, which often happens to me. Strange. And also what happens as well is people that hurt me, I have noticed, now I don't know if this is because of my strong spiritual connections, because I am an occultist, but people that hurt me and harm me, their chickens always come home to roost, and I see it out there. For instance, somebody has been calling me blagger instead of journalist or PI. I don't mind PI, even though I wasn't a PI on Fleet Street. But if they want to use that to fight, yeah, I get that. But no, you don't get to call me slagger, cunt, whore, or whatever you feel like, just because you got buddies at the BBC. Fuck off. But this person had done that, and this person had put that out there, and sheer jealousy, sheer unadulterated jealousy for my prowess as a journalist and my ability to go down to South Armagh when they didn't. I actually brought this person to a Real IRA meeting, and they brought with them a bouncer, a protector. I was on my own. I went upstairs to the meeting. They stayed in the bar. Now, I get how that really hurts, but years and years later, you do not get to come out of the woodwork and start calling me cunt, whore, blagger, slagger, whatever you fancy, just because you're now buddies with the rich and famous. It doesn't happen. It doesn't happen. And what do? I go off, I pray, I light my candles, I get my sigil to Shem Yaza, and I just say, protect me, I can do that. I've been studying the occult for a long time, and it's just asking for protection, so you get a mirror formed around you. And whoever hurts you, it's okay to come out with the truth about people. Yeah, that's fine. That's good. That's a good thing. And I certainly believe in karma. And I've certainly confessed to things I've done in my book. But I will not be accused of things I didn't do. When I was bullied on Fleet Street, I thought, no, not gonna do this for you. What? And then you tell your cop mates, and then I get in the shit. Fuck off. Yet this individual is making out, oh no, you did that. Well, no, I didn't do that because I would have been raided and locked up if I had have done. But they bang the drum hard enough and they go to their buddies and they think, well, the harder and louder we shout it, the more likely mud is to stick. And certainly with Sean Moss of the BBC helps along those lines. Why? Because they get Hugh Grant flashing his big blue eyes at them. It's utterly pathetic. And I know what's involved in it. Deep down, it's a boys' club. And it's a boys' club with a lot of boys madly in love with Hugh Grant. I totally understand that. There's nothing wrong with being gay whatsoever. I mean, absolutely nothing. If I was a man and I had Hugh Grant walking around me, I would turn gay. I mean, totally. I mean, you just would. But this is what these men are doing. And fine, go ahead and do it. But don't make me pay. Don't make me pay because it will rebound. Interestingly now, apparently through Mazza Mahmood, now I've heard this at hand, a tape has emerged about one of them having this swastika flag on their basement wall, and there's a footage of it. Someone who didn't like this individual apparently got an invite down, and there's a tape of this individual talking about Wehrmacht or something and how fantastic they think the SS is, or the Wehrmacht, and apparently the wall and something. So he had a frenemy somewhere along the line, and when I was asked about it, I didn't know about it. And I certainly didn't know that this person, was like that. I remember one time going out to dinner with them and another individual, and the other individual said, oh, I don't mind about him hating Jews. It's okay, I'm a Jew. And I thought, what? And I thought, what a weird thing to say, because I'm not Jewish. And I thought, so weird. But apparently, so this other person must have known about it in some kind of way. But anyway, I hadn't, certainly apart from that, had not heard about this swastika flag. But it struck me, and I thought, wow, it's like something just coming out of the blue, something that obviously some individual has sat on and kept, and now has decided to unleash it. And it's quite powerful. It's a powerful thing, obviously. And I thought to myself, ding, 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 this is what happens. This is what happens when I'm hurt. People that hurt me, there's always some kind of comeuppance, and I'm always watching it. It's almost like a test from God, as if to say, do you feel pleased that's happened? And I know I don't feel pleased it's happened to this individual. I just feel a little bit shocked. I don't feel pleased at all, but it interests me a lot, because that's that person's reputation. So if that goes out in a documentary, they've destroyed. I mean, because people don't like that, worshipping swastikas, yada yada yada. So that person has built up a big social profile of being this real good person. So their relationship with these famous, rich, yada yada people will be just destroyed. They will distance themselves. And I thought, but that's what you've done to me. You wanted my reputation to be shit on the ground. You wanted everybody to think I was this crumb that whenever a journalist said, oh, hello, Christine, ring a clinic and find out if someone's had an abortion. Ring a clinic and find out if someone's had their boobs cut off. That I would risk my entire existence by doing something like that. The first thing when you ever ring somewhere like that is all calls are recorded for your security. So you're actually like going into a building society to rob without a mask on. Your voice, there's fucking tech that can tell it's fucking your voice. You'd go to prison without touching the ground. Now, that is my horror, the idea of going to prison. I don't mind going to a men's prison, but not a women's prison. The idea of being with loads of women, I mean, fuck off. The idea that I would do what some snotty ass grow out journalist that has just come from university when I've been on Fleet Street since 1987 and knew old Fleet Street. The idea that I would break the law for some groat that, I'm the big journalist. What are you? You're a shit catcher. Fuck off from my shit catcher. And this individual, the Swastika individual, said in court, she did journalist dirty work. Well, I can't find the words, mate. I can't find the words. Firstly, my IQ is 131. It pisses all over yours. Secondly, I don't do anyone's dirty work. Do you understand? I've been bullied. I've been used for sex. Phil, I have known life under abuse. And you really dream, just because you want to be buddies with Hugh Grant, you really dream that when scumbags ring me and ask me to break the law when they're fresh out of university, I say, okay, how high do you want me to jump? No. That would never happen. Do you understand me? That would never fucking happen. Because even by doing that, it's insulting me, and I don't get insulted by people, do you understand? And you've gone out there without giving me recourse of explaining what had gone on, without giving me recourse of telling anyone how I got into Fleet Street, how I knew what Fleet Street was like, how I was taken out of my home, taken to the south of France, and pounded and made to fucking go along with a story that I was the devil's daughter. Yeah, what? And I go into Fleet Street and think they're a load of angels. I went into Fleet Street knowing that those men were rapey, knowing those men were abusive, knowing the women were just doxies for them. What? And you really believe when they rang me and asked me to do illegal things that I went, okay, how high? Don't you know that if a journalist rings you and asks you to do something illegal and then you do it and then they tape you saying, oh, I've just done that. Don't you know that, and you have actually done it, don't you know that they could blackmail you and come round and have sex or BJs whenever they wanted? Yeah? Never thought of that scenario. Well, me as a rape victim, I certainly thought of that scenario. And you really believe I'd leave myself open to scum, like the scum who called me the devil's daughter? Dream the fuck on. That's your wet dream, sweetheart. That's your wet dream. And you can have a wet dream that you're big buddies with a blue-eyed movie star and you ride off into the distance with him thinking you're hot diggity dog, but you do not do that at my expense. Do you understand? You don't do that at my expense, but you have uncovered nothing. Don't you understand? If I had anything to hide and I'd done illegal things or broken data protection acts, how could I come along to the BBC and let myself be grilled? Why would I go down to the woods with the BBC and have them shoving a camera in my face and shout at me? Why would I go out with Evan Harris for a French meal? It's on tape, so don't bother denying it. Why would I deal with you people if I'd have done something illegal? Would John Boyle come and deal with you? But no, I have to pretend to be the working class retard that, you're just stupid, you're just a thicko. I tell you, sweetheart, my IQ's far, far higher than yours. So it's interesting, someone that would turn on you and use the powerful position they are temporarily in to try and destroy it, to try and destroy your reputation, now I don't mind being accused of doing illegal things. I don't mind of being, accused of doing illegal things. I don't. Yeah, James Hewitt accused me of creeping about his bedroom or something. If I'd have been creeping about his bedroom, I would have tied him up in a little ball and had my wicked way with him for damn sure. So, accused of, I don't mind, it amuses me. He called me a private investigator. He accused me of that. I don't mind that kind of thing. I mind when you're accused of really, really stupid brain dead things and it's stated as fact. And someone, Sienna Miller, coming out of court and saying, I made her kill her child. No, that's not going down too well with me. Then I go to my altar and I light some candles about that and I say, hey, God, what's happening here? That's what I say. So don't like that. Or other accusations where I'm not given a right of reply, and then this person goes to their buds at the BBC and they say, okay, don't worry, we'll write it. And then the more we write it, the more she's smeared. Then I go at my table and I say, hey, God, what's happening here? And it's so interesting that when you talk to God or his angels or Shem Yaza, whoever sigil you have at the time, and you say, I don't like this, I don't like what's happening. And then you get, months later, you get this swastika story coming out of nowhere that will absolutely, when it's broadcast, destroy this individual in the way they wanted to destroy me, saying, oh, you threatened somebody. Oh, you threatened me. I'm so scared of you. You're such a badass. You did all this criminal stuff. I didn't do criminal stuff, not because I'm a moral giant, just because I don't want to go to a woman's prison. You get raped in there. I was raped by my adoptive mother. I'm not going to go there. If some shitty-ass journalist or editor asks me to do something illegal and says to me, you don't do it, you're out of Fleet Street, I think my first thought is rage. Yeah, but that's my first thought, rage. My second thought is, I'm going to fuck you up. That's my second thought. My third thought, what? I'm going to do it? No. That's not thought number 3. Thought number 3 is, I'm going to make this motherfucker up. I'm not even going to pick up the phone, you piece of shit. Don't ever ring me when I've been around Fleet Street since 1987. And what? You've just arrived. You've just arrived. And I do include Rebecca Brooks in that because she wasn't around when I was around. I got there first. Nobody is going to tell me to do something illegal and have me do it after they threaten me. What the fuck do you think I am? But apparently, according to this little person that was only 6 months on the press and apparently now bums themselves up as a whistleblower. No, you weren't a whistleblower. You were never in a circle. I was a whistleblower. I got offered by Operation Wheating to go into a safe house. That's all on record. You were trying to get my witness statement out of me. I've got that. It's with a journalist. It's not in my home. That's with this this really powerful journalist that has tapes and everything. So, yeah. Including a statement by Dr. Mark Collins. Whenever I went in the Priory, I said to him, oh, been asked by the Sun, this, what's going on here? And I used to tell him straight away, that's there too. And the heinous, filthy, dirty, again by the swastika person, this heinous insinuation. What was it? I used my appointments at the Priory to see if celebrities were there. You disgusting scumbag. I used my appointments there, my God-given appointments there, to get back my sexuality after being forced to have group sex with men by my paedophile father who sold me on to other paedophiles. Do you understand? I went in there to get my life back, you piece of shit. When other scumbags, yeah, because you're the same as them. When other scumbags say, oh, Spice, see who's in there, What was my first thought? First thought was, you're a fucking scumbag, mate. Second thought was, don't ever tell me what to do in my life. Third thought was, I'm a journalist, you're a dirtbag. I'm not going to do your fucking dirty work. Fourth thought was, you're a cunt, I'm going to fuck you up. I'll tell you what I want to tell you. And you'll pay me and hopefully you'll get fucking sued, which did in fact happen on 2 occasions and maybe more that I don't even know about. 2 I know about. Still, they kept asking me. Still, I fucking fed them horseshit. Why? Because whenever anybody asked me to, I don't know, to lower myself, to risk my freedom, I pretty much don't like that. As I say, I went into Fleet Street with eyes wide open. I'd been used for sex. I'd been called the devil's daughter. And I was told, don't work for them. They're scum. I said, I know they're scum, but I want to be a journalist. And I became a journalist, more of a journalist than actually anybody I know, apart from one, actually, that I think was a good journalist. Otherwise, you get a lot of very cowardly men who dream of being James Bond, but they're not. They dream of being Woodward and Bernstein, but they're not. They dream of going places and being the big investigative journalist, but they're not. I saw John Ware from the BBC. BBC are worse larpers going. I saw John Ware. He was at that Sapphire Relay Ray meeting. I was inside. Why was I inside? Did they invite me? I said, no, they didn't invite me inside. I went up to the door and there was loads of special branch. It was amusing. It was amusing. I went in the car park. There was loads of guys in unmarked cars. 20 of them. I said, what are you doing here? They said, go away from the car. They were there because of the BBC. Oh, hilarious. The BBC, it's so pathetic. So the BBC had all the backing of loads of special. And there was John Ware going and pretending to be the great investigative journalist. I was there on my motherfucker own. My fucking own. I stayed after Ware left with all his entourage. I mean, there was an army there, a little private army. Still, John Ware stayed outside. Oh my God. I went up to the man on the door and I said, I want to come in. I've sat on a flight from London 2 hours. I'm tired. I've come all this way. I'm going to come in. And he looked at me and he went, oh, you're a delegate. I said, of course I'm a fucking delegate. I didn't even know what delegate means. He pinned a badge on me. I went inside, put my little ass down next to Liam Campbell, who they were outside all wanted for the Omar bomb. I sat next to him chatting away. This is how you operate as a journalist. You don't wait outside. See, the men of Fleet Street, sadly, the men of the BBC, they don't have a cock and balls. And when they come across a woman who's got a cock and balls, they try to destroy you. And I'm here to tell you, you're not going to destroy me. You're not going to destroy me. Because as well as having a cock and balls, I get down and dirty with spirit, 100%. Anybody that comes after me, and I don't mind being accused of things. As I say, James Hewitt has accused me in gentlemanly fashion. He hasn't called me a name. He's accused me of going into his bedroom. I don't mind that kind of thing. Absolutely. It amuses me. And I don't mind straight out accusations. But all this trying to demean me when I was a fucking 100% bona fide journalist and came out of care and put my fucking back into it. No one who wasn't a journalist gets to call me blagger, fucking slagger. So I will be going over and burning candles all fucking night long against this and those that are doing it, and I know who they are. And this swastika footage that's come out of nowhere, I think that's a direct result of my prayers. I absolutely do. My prayers saying, this person's trying to destroy me. This person is giving a narrative of my life. It's nothing to do with the narrative of who I am. I climbed to journalists in the Sunday fucking Times. I'm a Sunday Times best-selling author, and you think you can get away with calling me slagger blagger and getting your disgusting, weak filth in the BBC to call me slagger blagger as well. And then this same individual bleats on his LinkedIn profile, I protect children. Well, fucking hell, bitch. My son was 13 years of age. 13 years of age when all this kicked off. He's gone through a burglary to get the Daily Mail remittances. Oh, what? That was just a passing burglar. They ignored the Gucci watch and the gold bracelet on the side. They were just after the tech and the Daily Mail remittances. Oh, yeah, I'm sure it's just your average burglar. And then, so he had that, and he heard the CID of Windsor telling me that they came in overnight. He heard this other Swastika boy saying that he was going to kick my door down to get the Daily Mail remittances. What? And you think, mate, that you can say that you protect children in your LinkedIn profile? My child suffers from anxiety attacks because of all this. You people are absolutely evil right down to the core. And you think, do you, that I'm the only one out there? And that's all right, she's just a working class scumbag. Nobody listens to her, it doesn't matter. Well, actually, you've gone after the Mail now, haven't you? And they have a whole army of journalists who see you guys. They see you. They see the BBC. They see what you are. They see what you're doing. And it's all about politics. It's all about agenda. It's all about, oh, we're in love with Hugh Grant, and if I lap round him enough and write nasty stories, then I might get off with him. I might have a chance of having sex with him. It's so fucking see-through. It's fucking pathetic. I tell you, boys, you can crack on as much as you want. But in future, and you can accuse me of what you want. Well, apart from low IQ stuff, like ringing someone's GP, can't accuse me of that. You have. That'll be cleared up. That'll be absolutely cleared up. Yeah, so the point of the podcast I was making, it's not just me. I've made tapes of everything. It's not in my home. That's with someone else. And there's been documentaries now being made. There's people that are very passionate about the Mail. Journalists, I believe there's journalists come out of retirement just to work for free on this. They're investigating everyone concerned. So I think they're even going back to people's school days, interviewing people there. There is a lot of activity and a lot of people that are involved in this and have acted in spurious ways. And it's nothing to do with me. It's to doing attacking and trying to ruin the reputation of a newspaper that people who work for are passionate about. So there's very intellectual people, very, people that have high connections, people that are Masonic, involved in throwing a spotlight on activity and what has gone on. So it was interesting, though. Personally, I don't believe it's these people that have revealed this swastika footage. I believe that it was down to my prayers being answered, that not that this person would be hurt. No, because I think this person is actually ill. Not this person be hurt, but they would get a wake-up call that, you're hurting people here. You're destroying reputations. My son has an anxiety disorder now because of this. You're drawing up really bad karma for yourself. You're not the good guys. You're just after money and maybe a shag from a good-looking celebrity. This is your goal, and it's not a worthy goal, actually. All this reforming the press, that's a load of cock. If it were true, you'd have acted towards me in a nice, decent manner. I was helping. I mean, I was having dinner. Do you have dinner? And yet I was threatened over dinner in front of my son. It's despicable. I actually, though, reacted to that because I'm intelligent, deep-seeing, and occultic. I reacted to that as seeing that person as sick. You don't do that for a child as mother. Say, oh, we're going to make your life difficult. What? Well, if you're a single mother, your life's difficult anyway. That, for shame on that individual. For shame. So, yeah. I guess the moral of the story is if somebody is attacking you, if somebody is, just sit back and let it happen, and then know that God's got your back. At the end of the day, God does have your back. At the end of the day, the Palestinians, having that Hunger Games scenario. They'll be going straight up to heaven. They'll be free of this shit. God has everyone's back. And there'll be a terrible retribution for those involved in that, a terrible retribution for those who have sat back and said nothing. For those that said, oh, it's getting Hamas, I mean, come on. Did the British destroy Ireland because of the IRA? That wasn't done. It could have easily been done. But this is what they've done to just women and children. And it's just sickening, really, seeing that. They're now bombing the homeless in Rafah, moving them somewhere else. And this will come to our shores soon, soon enough. It's really bad. It's a satanic sacrifice of the Palestinians, and that will make the world a darker place. And but still, God has our back. This has had to happen, and signifies the end of Earth, which is great. Not the end of life. We go to other levels, higher levels, places where you can't lie, places where it's honest because you can see inside the mind of another. You don't have a tongue. You communicate telepathically. That way, nobody's mind is a private place. And I think humans, they're not fit to live in a way where they have private minds. They are too duplicitous. They are too given over to lying. And yeah, people might say, "Oh, you were a journalist, didn't you use lies?" And yeah, I mean, I did, and I felt weird doing it. But you kind of thought, well, this is what you do. This is being a journalist. And I remember going around to see a priest round the corner. I still know this priest, and saying, I want to be a journalist all my life, but I don't like it because they're sneaky. And him saying to me, the more and more spiritual you get, the more you won't want to be a journalist. And it was weird because I thought, but I didn't want to be one. But it was always about revealing people. It was always about doing stories on people. They didn't want to be part of a story. So it didn't seem right. I don't know. Now I feel I lost that, and it feels horrible because I lost my power, and not being a journalist anymore makes you feel as if you're thrown out into Civvy Street. And it hurt me, and it carries on hurting me, and it hurts me that Swastika Boy is telling my narrative. I rocked Fleet Street hard, and I was something. When a Panorama guy, and I can't remember his name, Stephen Scott, I think, met me, he said, I meet the legend. He said, you're someone that can get a paedophile to pull over their car so the Daily Mail can take a photograph of them. He said, you're a legend. And this person, Swastika Boy, has urinated all over that and got his buddies in the BBC to call me names. Not even a journalist, when I was a powerful and well-known journalist. And my son had to see all that, witness all of it, and now has got an anxiety disorder because of it. So this swastika coming out, and this footage of recording of this individual saying yada yada, he adores a swastika, whatever. I just think, yeah, you hurt a child, God's watching, and I know about karma. I know when I do something bad that karma will come back. I try and not hurt people because I was brought into Fleet Street by being destroyed, really. I knew not to destroy, whereas other people, such as Swastika Boy, doesn't know all that. So he went into Fleet Street hard and nasty. And I've heard from other people he was really ruthless and didn't mind hurting people. And he then looks around and thinks, oh, you must have been like that. You were there. But no, different. Understand? But this individual can't think outside the box. Then gets his buddies in the BBC to reply, and before long you have a narrative out there that's nothing to do with you, and you're called names and your child's affected by it. I crumbled. For the last couple of years, I haven't been myself. I cry a lot. haven't been able to support my family. We live in a flat with black mold. Both of us have got headaches and cough all the time. Nothing we can do about it. Everything's broken in here. The windows don't close. Yeah. He's destroyed me. He's destroyed my life, destroyed my son's life. My son was studying history at university. He now changed it to journalism because he said, I want to write about them. He said, I want to expose them. He said, when I'm a man, they'll be old men. He said, I'll expose them, see how they like it. Because he saw me crumble. And anyway, I just get up every morning and I live for my son. I live to protect him, and that I don't have a life and I don't expect anything from life. I expect pain. I expect sorrow. I expect more hardship. I expect more fear. I expect more fearing living on the street. That's with me all the time. I wake up and think, oh shit, I'm here. And I try and hide it from my son. That my life's just become like a living nightmare. And whenever I see that word like blagger, I just think I don't fucking deserve that. I went down to South Armagh and I went in that Cross McGlen Sinn Féin office and I literally had poo in my knickers. But I thought, Christine, you got to make something of your life. You got to be somebody just to make up for being dumped in an orphanage like a piece of shit. Be somebody, be a journalist. And I pushed myself to do that. And he's turned round. Oh no, you're a blagger. And got the BBC to repeat it. And I tried to get them to take it down, but they won't. They're really fighting hard against me. And anybody else where you've cried and begged, they'd remove it. But they haven't. And it's just staying there and it makes me feel so bad. Because I put my heart and my fucking soul into being a journalist. And I remember one time when somebody was trying to... Oh, it doesn't matter. I remember one time when the Real IRA were coming to get me from the airport. And I said to Clive Goodman, you got to spot me, which means if I don't ring back in an hour, you got to call the police. And I got in this car with one of the Real IRA commanders and I tried to get out straight away and he locked it all. And I said, I'm really, really scared. And I said, do you think you're going to kill me? And he said, the more you struggle, the more we're going to think you're somebody. And I just... Before I'd got in the car, I'd shit myself and I had to take my underwear off. But I just thought, you've got to make something of yourself. You've got to be a journalist. And I got there. I fucking got there. I got my bylines in the Sunday Times and by God, I'm a journalist. Tom Symonds, I'm a fucking journalist. Call me what you like. I'm still a journalist. And you won't ever take that away from me. No matter how much you deride me in my son's eyes. And never say on your LinkedIn profile, Tom Symonds, that you protect children because you've given my son an anxiety disorder. You do not protect children. And you're not half the journalist I was. You and Sean Moss. Sorry, I'm trying to turn this off.